Subscribers to this channel will know that we recently started a new series looking at teams starting 11 10 years ago and their starting 11 now, comparing the players in each position and giving our views on the best possible combined 11. The teams we have looked at so far are Manchester United, Liverpool, Barcelona and Chelsea, and I said Arsenal would be up next. Rest assured, that is still the plan, and I feel a bit dirty deviating from the format at all, but as a one-off today, due to the number of requests and the popularity of those requests in the comments, today we're going to be comparing France's 1998 team with their 2018 one. Whereas we would normally compare the players who played most frequently in each position throughout a season, today we're just going to compare France's 1998 World Cup final starting 11 with their 2018 World Cup winning one. But we still have to keep the players in their rightful positions. France's 1998 World Cup win was the nation's first, and they won the tournament in style on home soil. A star-studded French squad that came together perfectly at just the right time. Some feel it could all have been very different if Ronaldo hadn't suffered a convulsive fit before the final, but you can only beat what's put in front of you. It was a slightly more pragmatic French side that won the 2018 World Cup, 2 years on from heartbreak in the final of the European Championships. The French side was well drilled by their 98 Cup-winning captain Didier Deschamps, and they looked tight at the back and a real threat on the counter. And after seeing off Belgium in a tough semi-final, they never really looked in any doubt against Croatia in the final itself. Those are the only two times France have won the World Cup. Here is our France 1998 versus France 2018 combined 11. Goalkeeper: Fabien Barthez versus Hugo Lloris. It's a slightly unusual choice in goal, as both Fabien Barthez and Hugo Lloris had excellent World Cups when their nations reigned victorious, but both looked a little suspect after winning world football's ultimate honour. It's important to remember we're just comparing the two players based on their talents at those two World Cups, not their qualities or accomplishments over the course of their entire careers. For that reason, we have to go with Fabien Barthez. Hugo Lloris was a real candidate for the Golden Glove at the 2018 World Cup, conceding just 6 goals all tournament, but back in 1998, Barthez, despite being a bit of a nutter, conceded just 2. That's quite remarkable over 7 games, which saw France face the likes of Italy, Croatia and Brazil. Barthez naturally won the Yashin Award as the tournament's best goalkeeper then, whilst Thibaut Courtois won it in 2018, so it is the eccentric goalkeeper turned racing driver who gets the nod from us. Fun fact, I once met Barthez at a hotel in Cyprus. Well, I say I met him. He denied being Fabien Barthez and could just have been a bald French bloke, but I'm pretty sure it was him and he just said it wasn't in the hope I'd go away. If so, it worked. He's our number 1. Right back: Lilian Thuram versus Benjamin Pavard. Something of a surprise inclusion in the French squad when called up as a 21-year-old at newly promoted Stuttgart in 2017, Bayern-bound Benjamin Pavard had a very good 2018 World Cup with France. Not only was he part of a largely very solid defensive unit, he chipped in with a rare and decisive goal against Argentina. And what a goal it was too. Despite having a very decent World Cup, Pavard is no match for Lilian Thuram. One of the most accomplished right-backs of the modern era, Thuram is France's most capped player of all time, having amassed 142 appearances for the country he moved to at the age of 9 between 1994 and 2008. Powerful, elegant and intelligent, there aren't many right-backs who'd rank above Thuram, and with all due respect to Pavard, he certainly isn't one of them. Thuram takes this one. Centre-back: Frank Leboeuf versus Raphael Varane. An altogether much trickier decision on the right side of our centre-back partnership. Frank Leboeuf and Raphael Varane are two excellent centre-backs. Leboeuf was a cultured and classy centre-half who spent the bulk of his club career with Strasbourg and Chelsea, as well as racking up half a century of caps for France, which included their 1998 World Cup and Euro 2000 successes. At his best though, which we think he was somewhere close to at the 2018 World Cup, Raphael Varane is a different animal. One of the most complete centre-backs in the modern game, Varane is so quick, strong and powerful in the air. He's also intelligent and composed in possession, and at full strength, he's comfortably among the best players in his position in the world. Jose Mourinho already thought Varane was the best centre-back in the world at the 2014 World Cup, and he no doubt improved by 2018, so he gets the nod for us over Leboeuf. Centre-back: Marcel Desailly versus Samuel Umtiti. Many of the compliments we pay to Raphael Varane could be equally bestowed upon his centre-back partner Samuel Umtiti. The Barcelona man was arguably even more impressive at the 2018 World Cup than Varane, and in addition to some exemplary defensive displays, he also chipped in with the all-important winning goal in France's toughest game, their 1-0 semi-final success over Belgium. With that being said, despite probably reaching a level which could be described as world-class in 2018, Umtiti still loses badly to Marcel Desailly. Just like Thuram, Desailly featured in our all-time positional series, coming 7th in our look at the 7 greatest centre-backs of all time. That was a richly competitive 7, so that's no minor feat. Such an intelligent footballer who is just as good in defensive midfield as he was at centre-back, Desailly was nicknamed The Rock for obvious reasons. Physically dominant, aggressive, and more than capable of carrying the ball out from the back, 1998 Desailly and 2018 Raphael Varane wouldn't be letting much past them as our centre-back partnership. Left back. Vicente Lizarazu versus Lucas Hernandez. It's cruel on France's class of 2018 that they are up against such a ridiculously strong back four in terms of France's class of 1998, and naturally, Lucas Hernandez is the next to fall by the wayside. In fact, if Laurent Blanc hadn't been suspended for the 1998 World Cup final following a red card for slapping Slaven Bilic in the semi-finals, this back four would just have been the 98 back four, and even Varane wouldn't have made it. Lucas Hernandez is a very assured and well-rounded young fullback and/or centre-back who is soon to become the second most expensive defender in the history of the game. Vicente Lizarazu was a machine down the left flank though. A tireless runner with iron lungs, Lizarazu was quick, good on the ball, a real threat when crossing the ball, and crucially, very astute defensively. An excellent left back, Lizarazu completes our back four. Defensive midfield. Didier Deschamps versus N'Golo Kante. Comfortably the most difficult decision in this combined 11 thus far, defensive midfield is a choice of France's smiley 2018 midfield workhorse, N'Golo Kante, and his manager and France's captain 20 years earlier, Didier Deschamps. Eric Cantona famously called Didier Deschamps a water carrier in the French squad, but anyone who watched the former Juventus and Marseille star knew how important he was to both his national and club sides. A master of breaking down opposition attacks, Deschamps was intelligent, hard-working, and a fantastic leader. Kante, meanwhile, is an altogether much quieter figure. The ever-positive two-time Premier League winner had a very similar role in France's 2018 World Cup glory though, at the base of his team's midfield, covering every blade of grass, breaking up play, and recycling possession. I think arguments can be made in favour of both, but just for the energy and impetus he brings to a side, I'm going to go for Kante, who has been likened to having an extra player at his best due to his incredible work rate. Central midfield. Christian Karembeu versus Blaise Matuidi. In both 1998 and 2018, France played with a slightly unorthodox setup, lacking any true wingers, meaning their teams looked pretty narrow but had loads of talent just in behind and not particularly prolific centre forward. We'll come to those positions shortly, but I'm only bringing it up so you get some idea of the formation we've got, which is something akin to a 4-1-2-2-1. In front of N'Golo Kante, we have two more players who bring real energy, athleticism, and dynamism to our midfield. Christian Karembeu wasn't always a regular fixture at Real Madrid at the time of the 1998 World Cup, but he was a key cog in Aimé Jacquet's France squad. Blaise Matuidi has always been a pivotal figure at club level though, from Saint Etienne to PSG, and now at Juventus. It's not an easy decision by any means, but I'm a big fan of Matuidi's, and his energy and application, along with Kante's, was a big part of France's success as a unit in 2018, so he's my choice here. Central midfield. Emmanuel Petit versus Paul Pogba. Over the course of their careers in terms of consistency and regularly impacting games, there's no competition between Emmanuel Petit and Paul Pogba at this stage of Pogba's career. However, we're just comparing the two players at their respective World Cups, and Paul Pogba had a good tournament with France in 2018. Petit was such a well-rounded footballer, big, athletic, difficult to knock off the ball, excellent in the pass, and really industrious. Pogba, meanwhile, has a bit of magic up his sleeve. He's capable of beating players, playing wonderful through balls, and chipping in with a couple of goals at the other end. Week in, week out in the Premier League, you take Petit every day of the week. For this combined 11, based solely on the 98 and 18 World Cups, I'm going for Pogba. Attacking midfield. Zinedine Zidane versus Antoine Griezmann. This is really cruel on Antoine Griezmann, who has been such an important player for France under Didier Deschamps, but we have to compare the players in like-for-like positions, which means he faces the unenviable task of going up against Zinedine Zidane. As a result, he loses. Zidane was one of the most natural footballers I've ever seen, grace and elegance personified in possession, and capable of stepping up the speed during transition to devastating effect. He was often quite inconsistent throughout his club career, but 1998 was his peak. Off the back of probably the best season of his career at Juventus, Zizou was France's star man at the finals on home soil. He missed out on the best player award to Ronaldo, having been sent off at the finals, but still made the tournament's best 11. Crucially, he also scored France's first 2 goals in the final against Brazil, which essentially won them the tournament. It's unfortunate for Griezmann, but Zidane obviously walks into our starting 11. Attacking midfield. Yuri Zhirkov versus Kylian Mbappe. It's another unwelcome decision alongside Zinedine Zidane, since these are 2 players you'd love to have in any team, albeit they are very different ones. Yuri Zhirkov is your classic second striker attacking midfield schemer, brilliant on the ball, really creative, and capable of chipping in with 20 plus goals in his best season. Mbappe, meanwhile, just exploded onto the scene as a teenager with lightning pace, brilliant control, and an eye for goal. I got to watch a France 98 versus Italian Legends match in Nice a couple of years ago, and Zhirkov was the best player on the pitch, although Paolo Maldini very rudely didn't turn up. The former Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain star is such a gifted footballer, but we have to go with Mbappe here. The then teenager, now 20-year-old, is just frighteningly quick, direct, and he had a brilliant 2018 World Cup. He frightens the life out defenders, sees in alongside Zidane. Centre forward. Stephane Guivarc'h versus Olivier Giroud. It's here where, with the greatest of respect, this team starts to fall down a little. France had David Trezeguet and Thierry Henry waiting in the wings in 1998, but with both players only 20 years of age, it was Stephane Guivarc'h who started for Aimé Jacquet in the final. In 14 caps for France, the striker scored just 1 goal, and it wasn't at the 1998 World Cup. That's something he has in common with Olivier Giroud, who also won a World Cup as a centre-forward who didn't score a single goal. Didier Deschamps loves a target man though, and Giroud provides an excellent foil for the likes of Kylian Mbappe and Antoine Griezmann to play off. Whilst neither of these two are perhaps as gifted as the rest of this starting 11, the obvious choice is Giroud. Although he is no Henry or Trezeguet, the Chelsea striker has been far more prolific outside of France and at international level than Guivarc'h, and he does bring a real presence to any forward line. The team, including substitutes and manager. As always, we do need to select 7 substitutes and a manager. Since today's video is a little bit off course, we'll take our subs from the 7 best players in either team's World Cup squads that didn't make our 11. Using that criteria, Hugo Lloris would be our backup goalkeeper, Laurent Blanc would take a place on the bench, although he would actually start if available, and if ruled out the bench too, we'd go for Petit. At fullback, we'd go for Lucas Hernandez, who has the added bonus of being able to cover a couple of positions. We are absolutely spoiled for choice in the midfield areas, but I'd have to go with Didier Deschamps and Patrick Vieira as cover in the middle of the park, in addition to Yuri Zhirkov in a more advanced area. Last but not least, our substitute centre-forward can surely only be Thierry Henry. In charge of that talented group, we'd go for Jacquet over Deschamps, who overcame heavy criticism at one time in France, succeeded in blooding a very talented group of young players, and dealt well with the loss of Eric Cantona in 1995. To recap, our starting 11 reads like this: Fabien Barthez, Lilian Thuram, Raphael Varane, Marcel Desailly, Vicente Lizarazu, N'Golo Kante, Blaise Matuidi, Paul Pogba, Zinedine Zidane, Kylian Mbappe, and Olivier Giroud, with the bench of Hugo Lloris, Laurent Blanc, Lucas Hernandez, Didier Deschamps, Patrick Vieira, Yuri Zhirkov, and Thierry Henry, all marshalled by Aimé Jacquet, and I still can't quite believe Robert Pires hasn't even made the bench. For a bit of fun, here's our starting 11 if we weren't bound by having to compare the players in the positions they played in their respective World Cup finals, and could pick anyone in our own formation. Right, that's it for today's Combined 11. Let us know what you think in the comments and how you think that All-Star French 11 would fare against our previous Combined 11s. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to subscribe to HITC Sevens and turn on notifications if you're a fan of the channel. Or even if you're not, I mean, I'm just looking to get the numbers up, so even if you hate me, I'd appreciate the support. Cheers!